When it comes to pass optimal and GPP laps, we can go all the way back to 2019 at the 3M Open because DraftKings was already established when this event started. So in 2019, our optimal lineup used up 47,500. That's leaving $2,500 on the table, and it scored 722 points. Now, when I go over this, I want you to pay attention to the salaries that the golfers are, because if you are new to the channel, what I typically talk about is when you start building your lineups, I think if you start with the 10-9-8-7-7-6 model, it's probably the best way to go. And of course, you can make like 2 substitutions. I should say, of course, if you're new, you don't know that. You can make 2 substitutions, meaning if you didn't want to start with a 10K golfer, you can sub that 10 down to a 9. But that might leave too much salary on the table, so you can sub that 6K up to a 7. So now your lineup build would look like a 9K, 9K, 8K, 7K, 7K, 7K. So 3 7Ks, 2 9Ks, and an 8K. That works. That follows the sweet spot process. So, but I also like, I want to start with a 10-9-8-7-7-6. So again, when I go over these golfers, I'm going to point that out, especially with optimal lineups and kind of like realistic optimals. So in 2019, your optimal started with Bryson at 10,500. So we got our 10K right out of the gate. We go down to 8K. There, as you can see, there's no 9K. It's these golfers with a little black tick marks next to them. So we have 1 8K. We have 3 7Ks and a 6K. So technically, we could say this works because how I view 2 substitutions, we obviously don't have a 9K, right? Well, we can sub that 9 down to an 8, and then the 8 down to a 7. So that's really your 2 substitutions that you could make. And that's how we get 3 7Ks, a 10, an 8, and a 6. But again, as I always talk, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 is usually the best way to start. There's something you should wait for at the bucket system portion of this, because the 9K range for this event, it's crazy. It's interesting. And you might even notice it when we go through. If you just pay attention to the top 10s, look to see how many 9K show up inside the top 10. It's weird. It's weird. So anyways, we also have a second 10K golfer that's up there, in Hideki Matsuyama. But I didn't really play that much in 2019, I think, like for contest wise. So I just have the 25 cent, the quarter arcade that I had played. And those are the golfers that you see in blue. So that's a 10K. Look at this, 10K, 9K. Trying to see who all 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay. I mean, that also works, leaving $600 on the table. You can still make your 2 substitutions that way. Obviously, we're subbing an 8 down to a 7 and a 6 back up to a 7. That's how we get our 4 7Ks to go with the 10K and a 9K. So that's the winning quarter arcade. And then for a more realistic optimal, I have a 10K, 8, 8, and 3 7. So there you also have your 2 substitutions that way. Let's move to 2020. This was after coming back from COVID, by the way. I was just reading this. This didn't make any... I don't know why... That doesn't make any sense to me, but I understand what I was saying. It started with the Charles Schwab Challenge, and because there's not 7 tournaments beforehand, it's not true recent form, because that's how I look at recent form. I get it. Don't pay attention to that. Your optimal left a lot of money on the table, by the way, in 2020. Scored 708.5 points, and it left $4,700 on the table. It still started with the 10K in Tony Finau, 2 7Ks, a third 7K, and then 2 6Ks. So it doesn't really follow the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 approach, but still starts with a 10K. And again, if you're paying attention to the top 10, we're not really seeing 9Ks involved here. So it's a bunch of 7Ks. We have our 1 10K that's up there. By the way, Victor Hovland last year, or in 2017, he was 9,300, I think. Let me just double check. He was 9,100. He finished 13th. In 2020, we had Matthew Welf, 9,700. He finished 12th. So interesting things there. I always look at the top 10s when it comes to the bucket system. So That's 2 years in a row where we don't have a 9K inside the top 10. Anyways, that's a lot of money to leave on the table for the optimal. That's too challenging. That's difficult. I wouldn't advocate for leaving that much money on the table. The $3 birdie, for whatever reason, left a bunch of money on the table too. Like the winner of that GPP left a lot of money. Scored 643 versus the 708 for the optimal. So there's still a lot of room in between that you could actually build a better lineup and take down that GPP. They used a 10K golfer. 7, 7, 7, 7. Let's see, maybe another 7. 8K in Brian Harmon. Okay. So 4 7s, an 8, and a 10. I don't understand how someone got there. That's crazy. Leaving that much money on the table. A more realistic lineup. It's realistic, but leaving $700 on the table probably isn't that realistic. But that starts with a 10K, 9K, 8K, 2 7s, and a 6. There you go. The 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. I probably did it this way. Let's see. I bet you we could go like 7,400. Yeah, this is $50,000. So you could still use your 9K, 3 7s, a 10, and an 8. So 10, 9, 8, and then 3 7s. That would get 50,000, but I think I just chose the $6,700 golfer here just to do the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. So it's still available to you. In 2021, your optimal lineup left $2,900 on the table. That also is unrealistic, and it's hard to even it's hard to accomplish. Like leaving that much money on the table, it's too difficult. It leaves so many different opportunities of building lineups. It's too hard to get to. So I never advocate for leaving that much money on the table. This optimal lineup though scored 647 points, and it still started with a 10K golfer in Louis Oosthuizen. So are you keeping track? We've been seeing 10Ks in all the optimal lineups. I believe we've been seeing 8Ks in each lineup as well. Maybe not last 2020. Did we not? Oh no, we did. Oh no, we didn't. Never mind. 2 6s, 3 7s, and a 10. Okay, never mind. But anyways, another 8K inside the top 10 like we did that previous year in 2020. But this one has a 10, an 8, 6, 6, and then 2 7s. And that's how you leave $2,900 on the table. Again, it's too challenging to do that. Your GPP winner scored 604. So that's about 43 points behind the optimal, which still leaves a lot of room to build a better lineup. This one actually used 2 10K golfers, Louis Oosthuizen and then Tony Finau down here. 2 10K golfers, an 8K, 2 7s, and a 6. So this one you actually whoa. Never mind. I'm sorry. I got confused. Hold on. Timeout. 10K, 10K, 2 7s, make that 3 7s and a 6. There we go. I was following the green salaries here. So just to repeat that, 2 10s, 3 7s, and a 6. So you still get your 6. This one we have 3 7s, but we're still starting with a 10K golfer. Now, a more realistic optimal. This one scored 635, so this one beat the GPP winner. It starts with a 10. I then include a $9,500 golfer. By the way, did you see how many 9K golfers are inside the top 10 this year? 3 years in a row now that we've covered, no 9K golfer inside the top 10, but just lurking outside. The other years it was like 11th, 13th place. We have Cameron Tringali this year, 16th place. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. There we go. That was $50,000, and again, that would have taken down the GPP. It was only 12 points behind the optimal, so that's pretty darn close. And then the last year to look at optimal and GPP winning lineups is in 2022. The optimal scored 662, and it left $900 on the table. That started with 2 10K golfers, Tony Finau, Sung J M. Then it had a $7,600 golfer in Emiliano Grillo, $6,900 in Scott Piercy. Remember, he choked it away on the last round. And then 2 other 7K golfers. So that's a 10-10, 3 7s, and a 6. Very unique way of building an optimal. Your GPP winner used the top 4 golfers. So that's 2 10s, a 7, a 6, another 7. And then I think if I scroll down a little bit here, we get our 4th 7. or our third 7. Yes, our third 7. So that one also was 10, 10, 7, 7, 7, 6. When we look for our first 9K golfer here, where do we see him? Wow, I need to put a filter on this one. Here's our 9K range. We only had 4 9K golfers. 3 10s and 4 9Ks. That was a weird year. Best finish was Adam Hadwin, 38th place. Now, I think it's probably worth mentioning we should probably compare this 9K range to the 9K range we have this year. But it is also still worth noting this is the 4th year in a row where we haven't seen a 9K golfer either in the optimal lineup or even in the GPP winning lineup. So 2 10Ks, like I would not be afraid to use a 10K golfer because they show up at this event a little bit more. I mean, I shouldn't even say a little bit more. They live up to their price tag. That's what I meant to say. They live up to their price tag. Now, I don't have a realistic optimal, but I think we probably could get closer by using someone just a little bit more expensive rather than these 7Ks. Cam Champ scored 92 points, so we could use him and maybe Hoagie. Yeah, this is 49,900. So that one's probably a little bit more manageable. Maybe I should just color this green. But that would be still 2 10s, 3 7s, and a 6. So yeah, pretty challenging to get to a lineup like that. I mean, that's very, very unique in building your lineups. But I guess let's just take a look at our salaries. I said we should look at our 9K range. Well, look at this. I mean, we have 7 golfers compared to last year's 4. So just from volume alone, I think we have a better opportunity to find one of these guys inside the top 10. But still keep in mind, 9Ks get no love at this event. How about this? Let's go back every year now and just look to see how many 9K golfers we had. Just to make sure we're doing our due diligence. 7 in 2021, only one of them finished 16th. And you had Sergio Garcia, Matthew Wolff, who probably was on the decline at that time. Cam Davis, Bubba Watson. So it kind of, I don't know. We'll go through some of these other ones. 2020, I want to see the names and then we can kind of compare. So in 2020, how many did we have here? 5. So limited, and it's Bubba, Matthew Wolff, Lucas Glover, Russell Henley. This is actually a better, this right here was a better lineup than 2021. And then in 2019, we look at our 9K golfers, and we also had 5. But you had Sabatini, Neiman was probably a better Finau, Hovland, and Sungjae. So that was kind of like a, you know, when we look at names now, going back then, 2019 was that Hovland's first year, and Sungjae would have just been on tour as well. So I don't know if we would have called them studs back then, but definitely potential. Like let's think of them as rookies. Same with Neiman, guys that have potential. So then when we go to 2023, I think you know where I'm getting at, right? Is looking at a guy with potential. Ludvig Aberg. He's a Swede. We're in the land of Scandinavians. Is there a reason we shouldn't be playing Ludvig this week? He's almost right at home. I mean, that's why a lot of the Scandinavians settled in Minnesota. It reminds them of home. So it's possible that I mean, that's a narrative, right? That's going out there into left field and trying to figure, trying to connect the dots. But hey, Sepp Straka's been playing well. Emiliano Grillo's been playing well. He's also pretty decent with course history here. Yeah, I don't mind Grillo. I don't mind Straka, Aberg, JT. Obviously, at one point in time, I mean, I shouldn't say at one point in time. For a really long time, he was at the elite level. He's kind of, I don't know, man. He hasn't been playing very good as of late. Same kind of applies to Gary Woodland. U.S. Open champion, hasn't really been playing that great, but Steven Yeager and Cameron Davis, they're all, horsepower guys. They can score in bunches. So I actually do like the 9K range this week. I think you can go to the 9K range when building lineups. The 10K range I think is pretty loaded. You know, like I think those 4 10K golfers, you probably want to play one of them. Probably. So anyways, shouldn't have drank water there. I always like to try to like be professional with the segments, and then I can cut them up easy. But that's going to cover our past optimal and GPP winning lineups. I noticed that 9K range when I was doing my my brief kind of overlook before jumping on stream, just to provide a little bit more information that maybe you guys weren't thinking about. Let me check the chat once again. Let's see here. Joanne also votes another week. So people that might be jumping in the chat right now, if you didn't see in the beginning of the video, I did a giveaway. And usually monthly giveaways around the Monday of the next month. Well, July 31st settles on a Monday. So I asked the chat, would you like an additional week to get more entries into the monthly giveaway, or would you like the monthly giveaway ran on July 31st? So I said if I can get 2 more votes, Joshua Maz voted 1. He was the first one, and then Joanne says another week. So if we get 1 more to say another week, we will do another week for that monthly giveaway, and we'll run it on August 6th, I think, right? That's 7 days from the 31st. Just to double check here. No, August 7th. Sorry, August 7th. We'll run it either August 7th or the 31st. I just need 1 person to also vote another week. And then Daryl Mooney goes, no 9Ks is scary, especially with Grillo recent form and course history plus Straka and Cam Davis. Yeah. So I think, you know, as long as I've been doing the pass optimal and GPP lineups as well as the bucket system, I know that we still have to compare every single year as to why maybe there weren't 9K golfers those years versus what's in the 9K range this week. Okay, Charlie Carden just made it official. We'll do the monthly giveaway August 7th. So we'll do the monthly giveaway then. That'll mean there'll be a smaller window for monthly giveaways in August, because I don't think September does the same thing. So anyways, man, July is going by fast. Summer's coming. Well, it's not gonna be coming to a close. We still got August, which will still be a warm month, but September in northern Minnesota, it gets cold quick. We can get snow as early as the end of September, so I'm not looking forward to that. All right, so that concludes the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups.